Greetings. This is Skylar Saunders Singh. What's current? Now we have Drizzy Drake throwing things into the crowd. This has been going on for years. This is nothing new. I just recently talked about Cardi B throwing her microphone into the crowd and then going up for auction for nearly $100,000. That towel is probably going to find its way onto an auction site like eBay someday. It's very familiar. People throw water into the crowd. People throw stuffed animals into the crowd. It's just an ongoing thing that's been going back decades. Ever since then, rock and rollers, having throwing things into the crowd and crowd surfing and mosh pits and everything like that. But this is a very simple case. Apparently and allegedly, Drizzy Drake threw a towel into the crowd with the idea of it landing in the hands of a young female. This did not happen. It happened to land to a male's hands, and I use the word male specifically because this is what happened. He started to. She actually, went for it, but he took it back. And Drake is noticing all of this, and he's saying I'll send one to you. That's what I got from it, from him lip reading, he's gonna I guess find her after the show and send her something, give her one signed or something special for her. Because this guy, this male, I don't know who would fight for a towel for Drizzy, who would fight a female for a towel from Drake. Now, I mean, it just seems very, wet tissue paper soft to me on the guy's part, to be, wanting a towel from a rapper, a sweaty towel from this rap artist, any person, any male, but if he's that way, maybe he's that way. I can't call it. I just know that seems very, very suspect to me. Seems very, hey, if you're gonna challenge a young lady, a young female, I don't even know if she's a lady or a young woman. If you're gonna challenge her to a towel that was thrown, then that just kind of just shows that you're not really in tune with the masculinity and the I guess in a sense heterosexuality. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not trying to get sued by anybody, but maybe it has to do with that person not being secure. They can be completely heterosexual. They're just not secure with their own heterosexuality. And that female apparently is going to get something more special. I'm not trying to allude to anything. I'm just saying he might give her a signed notebook or something, or his book of rhymes, so they can go on the internet for $500,000 or something like that, something crazy. But I guess he doesn't keep a book of rhymes. He has it in his phone. He doesn't memorize his rhymes, but he keeps them in his phone. So he that's what Drake can do. But just throwing stuff into the crowd and the crowd throwing stuff back at the performers, that's flagrant. And I think it should there should be more control, more stoppages of both sides, the performers and the audience, from engaging and throwing objects on the stage or at the performers, because it just creates a hazard. It creates little situations like this. This whole situation didn't have to be done. This is coming from an article by GABRIEL Bras NEVARES of hotnewhiphop.com. And he's showing that this was actually a heated confrontation with the fan. Drake, got a little, he was in a huff, I guess. He wasn't too pleased. He had his guard up. He wanted to make sure that he had, the upper hand in the whole affair, because this was his concert. This is part of, 21 Savage and his everything is a blur, or was a blur. Let me see. Let me make sure what it's called. It's all a blur. Excuse me. Pardon me. It's all a blur. So he's trying to, make sure that he still maintains that level of, chivalry, I guess, in a sense. He was trying to, defend the young female's honor in a sense, because of the alleged young male was yanking at the towel, trying to, keep it or wrest it from the young girl. I just think that's kind of funny. It just seems, hilarious in a sense and weird in a sense, that in both senses of the word funny. Um, he has, the capacity. Drake has the capacity to make women, you know, feel some type way. If I'll just put it that way. He's been doing this ever since 2009. And he knew he's very self-aware. They're very self-aware rappers. That's why rappers are, most successful, because they're aware of how people perceive them, what people think of them, what, the way they are, and then able to bypass all that confusion. He said, when my album dropped, the girls will buy it for my picture and the niggas will buy it for their sister. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he was saying. That's his whole career. It's like that whole diss against LL Cool J. 99% of your fans wear high heels, and then his response was 99% of your fans don't exist. I think he was talking about cannabis and that whole little battle back in the '90s. I'm going way back. I'm going back almost 30 years, y'all. So bear with me. But I just think it's amazing how Drake can be so, he seems like a tough guy in some certain situations and everything, but then he seems like, wet tissue soft. He can play both sides. I guess it's just like within the context of whatever situation that he finds himself in, he makes sure that he takes care of business on that level. He makes sure that he takes, into consideration that his audience is going to be riding with him, and that everyone except for this male apparently was, and he showed that. Drake showed, and he yelled back into the crowd. He said, I'm gonna make sure he's gonna get that. He's gonna get, that she's gonna get that towel or whatever was, uh uh that souvenir, I guess you can call it now. you know um he started, with this, and kept going with it. Here's a little bit more about the author. Gabriel Bras Naveras is a music and pop culture news writer for hip hop, excuse me, Hot New Hip Hop, and he started in 2022 as a weekend writer, and since joining the team full time, has developed a strong knowledge in hip hop. So I think that's telling. This is a good short article by Mr. Naveras. It explained the situation, to a T. Had every, different detail and aspect within it. So much, respect and kudos to the author, Mr. Navarez. But Drizzy Drake, oh man, Cardi B, and so many others. They get water tossed on them and drinks tossed on them and everything you can think of. And then they throw the microphone stand, the mic in the crowd, and the drumstick and the drum, the guitar. That's part of the game. That's part of the game from the, going to the 60s and 70s, and all the way to the 80s and 90s and beyond. You destroy your own instruments, you smash everything, you smash your bass guitar, you smash your rhythm guitar, you smash the drum set, you throw it and you throw it into the crowd, you throw the broken pieces into the crowd. You don't care. That's part of the art of rock and roll, and hip hop is, seems that way as well. Throw the microphones, throw the, and the DJ, throw the disc into the crowd, the 12-inch, it just comes to a point where you're in the moment of the audience. You're in the moment of the show. You're in that space. You're in that headspace that you're doing a live show, and anything could happen. Anything could happen. Like lightning struck. I think. I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Hold on. but it was something to do with lightning striking, and lightning strike. Oh, come on, lightning strike. It was a lightning strike of. I'm trying to find this situation. I'm looking for it. Just bear with me, because I'm still looking for it. I'm still on this record. Curtis Mayfield. Curtis Mayfield. He was paralyzed from the neck down after lighting equipment fell on him during a live performance at Wingate Field in Flatbush, Brooklyn, New York. So you don't know what could happen at a concert. You have no idea what could happen at a concert. Anything can happen. Anything can go down. Now, I'm sure there's dozens of other stories, just like Curtis Mayfield's, has occurred ever since the inception of performers and you know trying to do their best to entertain the crowd. But it just seems to me that this is a special case because Drizzy Drake, you know, he does this from time to time. He does this as a ritual almost. I think he throws the towel into the crowd, but he specifies to whom he is throwing the towel. He makes sure that he is trying to make it into the hands of his intended target, like a quarterback on the football field. And when it happens to be intercepted by some male, I think that becomes an issue. I think that becomes, something that he, made the confrontation about. Things got heated. Things got a little, dicey because of the fact that, he was trying to make it a showstopper, and just shut down the crowd. But it ended up in this guy's hands, and then the girl, she was like screaming back and forth, like, "Oh, can I get this? Can I?" She wasn't saying those words, but I'm saying, and in the scuffle, she was trying to hold on to the towel just as tightly as he was. But I'm still trying to figure out why, if he is heterosexual, he would keep the towel. If he can't prove that this was in fact a towel from Drizzy Drake, he'll probably have to go to DNA experts to get the sweat off and say, "Oh yeah, this is Drake's towel." Okay, yeah, or something like that, and then he can sell it for how many thousands of dollars he can come up with. That I can understand. That's a hustle. But if he wants to just save the towel and sleep with it and carry it around like what was it, Linus? Was it Linus with the towel or the blanket? If he wants to just do that, that's his business. But I don't want any parts of that. Um, there's a distinction between rappers like Drake and like people like I don't know who just jumps into the crowd and just goes wild. I can't even think of it, but he's not the type to get busy or get physical in the crowd and in the audience. And plus, he's got beefy security figures standing around him, ensuring that both he and the audience are safe from any kind of shenanigans, as we could say. Like it's almost like he had known about his whole struggle ahead of time. He almost like he knew what to do or knew that this would happen if it did happen. And I'll give it to Drake. He handled himself. And I think he reiterated, like I said, that the young girl is going to get something, I guess, in the mail, or go into his dressing room or and to the merchandise stand or something like that and get a towel signed by Drake or something like that. But like in the story says, here's the headline. The headline: Drake has heated confrontation with fan at one of his shows. So it just is something that people thought was just a small thing, and people will continue to chant it. I'll give you an example. This is from the article. Of course, it's entirely possible that this isn't true, and reason for the heated argument. That's going back. Apparently, from what commenters gathered and lip read, a man caught the towel that was meant for a group of girls. The two started fighting over it, and Drizzy wasn't at all happy at what he saw. So that could be cap or fake or whatever, but it says that Drake stopped and said something to the fan and apparently went back and forth with them for a little bit. At one point, the 36-year-old walks up very close to where the stands and the crowd are, much to the worry and dismay of his security team. Eventually, they ushered him away, and fans who didn't know any better just kept cheering. So that's usually the case anyway. When you have a audience to entertain, to to keep their attention, to keep them understanding, and the whole run of the game, run of the show, you got to keep it going. And most of the crowd didn't even know what happened. They just kept cheering because they saw Drake moving in between and out of the crowds, bobbing and weaving. Pause. Resume. And he's just doing his thing. He's going ham. And he continues to do it until he finds a point where he stops. His security team pulls him away. He gets a cool head instead of being all hot headed and boisterous and acting like he's going to do something about it, do something physical. I just think these little moments are weird. I just like little details. Little details are weird. They just are intriguing. I guess is the best word. More than weird, intriguing. You know, the Cardi B mic, the Drizzy towel. You know, it's wild. It's just little things like that set you off. People throw, like I said, bottles at the performers. The performers throw equipment at the audience. Like I said, repetition is the best form of learning. Repetition is the best form of learning. Okay. I learned it from a pastor, a wonderful, mystified young man. Watched, attended church today. An atheist. I'm in church almost every Sunday. If I'm not, I'm streaming because I want to know what's going on in the Christian world. I gotta see what the Christians are up to, especially. I don't know what the other mystics are up to. The Jews, they call them the little hats, but the Jews, the Muslims. I'm not in tune with them, but I'm in tune with the Christians. I once was a Christian. Haven't been a Christian for about 16 years. 16 years. I've been an atheist and an objectivist for about 11 years, maybe something like that. I was a student of objectivism for about 4 or 5 years. But I digress. This Drizzy topic is funny to me. It's intriguing. It's interesting. Why would you throw your towel into the crowd? Why would you make that a staple? I think that is a staple. I think that's his calling card. He waits until the end of a set, throws the towel to the crowd on purpose, with the intent of it landing in the hands of a young female, and then a male comes along and wants to claim it. And he has to go back and say, you can't do that. I intended it for these young women, these young females. And the guy, there's no record. I'm looking through the article. There's no record of the guy saying anything back. I'll continue. Furthermore, this is one of the most negative fan interactions that either Drake or 21 have had with the fans at shows. It's a shame because the energy is always mutually high for the most part, whether they're excited to perform or we're excited to watch. Previously, they had accepted hugs from fans who ran up to them and pointed out people in the crowd to give them a special moment to. It looks like Drake is the kind of artist that takes his towel throws seriously. So if you go to a tour show, be warned. That is facts. That's facts. Sadly, that's facts. You gotta worry about whether that towel is gonna be coming. In the future though, I think the towel is gonna be retired. He's gonna make sure that it goes backstage in a case or something like that, or goes into a temperature controlled box or something. Real shishi foo foo, real upscale. He's gonna be on that level of understanding. He's gonna be able to take his time to understand. Holy Moses! I just got a text. Taylor Swift is apparently officially a billionaire. Let me do a little bit of like we'll get back to Drizzy, but we gotta look at this young white woman. Yeah, gotta look at this young lady. Um, it could be cap. It could be fake. I'm looking at it. She's worth the last time somebody said that was of importance or of credibility. Insider.com was last month, and that she was worth $740 million plus. That's a lot for those shows. It's for them shows. $12,000 a ticket, something like that, just to be in the nosebleeds. That's what it's like. People got money. See, people got money. It's funny. People got money. It's like, oh, well, we gotta feed the children and the yeah. Oh, we're striking because we're not getting paid as much for our residuals. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, right. People have money. Okay, they play poker face. They show like they don't have all this in their hand, but they got bankrolls. People are flooded with cash. Okay? Don't get that confused. This is America and Americans around the world and people around the world. People around the world, even poor people around the world, poor people. I'm talking about poor people, not American poor people with Gucci slides and bonnets on their head and do rags and Crocs and air conditioning and Toyotas and Mazdas. No, and living in walk ups and brownstones. No, no, not even close. These are people I'm talking about that are dirt poor. Literally, they eat dirt that they're so poor. There was a runner who ate dirt. He was a marathon runner in Africa. So that's poor. That's poor. But even they will say I got money. Shoot, they may not be worth $200 a year. And I'm like, man, I'm paid. That's the beautiful system of capitalism, ladies and gentlemen. We can go from working in the fields for 3 cents an hour to working in factories for 47 to 75 cents an hour, or $1 an hour, or $2 an hour, and keep working your way up. In the past 30 years, we've seen over a billion, with a B, billion people rise up from poverty. That's a beautiful thing. That's all because of capitalism. And we look at, Taylor Swift's and the Drizzy Drakes, they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And you're like, dang, that's a lot of money, huh? But it's layers to this. There's levels to this. Drake and Taylor Swift are they're paupers. They're worth so little compared to somebody like Jeff Bezos, compared to somebody like Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Warren Buffett. Elon Musk. Hello, anybody? Change the name from Twitter to X. Like, I can do that. I got that cake. I got that money. I can change a whole freaking social network. Talk about that. Speak on it. Speak on that. How we have layers and levels to this game. And look at me, I'm just under 4 figures. I'm in the 3 figures right now. All tax free. I'm happy as can be. I didn't even mean to rhyme right there. But that's the facts right now. If you are in the live chat, put up a 1. Let me see who you are. I see one person in the live chat with the like. Thank you for the like. Whoever you are, who are you? As the wizard asked. No, but Taylor Swift can be a billionaire. She's a BG or a BB. She's a BB, a baby billionaire. She doesn't have enough money to buy a team. She doesn't have enough money to buy, resources that are in the hundreds of millions of dollars. She can buy a few things for tens of millions, maybe. A few million, yeah, sure. She's not like a decabillionaire or a centabillionaire. That's the deepness. That's the depth. That's depth. When you have, $100 billion plus, that's when you know you have made it on some level of productiveness. It doesn't mean that the people that are, digging ditches or, carrying crates or bags or something or sweeping up the corridors or back alleys, they can be just as productive. However, it becomes a challenge of the mind. It's more sophisticated in the way of using your brain, using your mind even beyond just a simple task is sweeping up in a restaurant or something like that. There has to be more to it. It has to be a greater, more complex system that's already involved. So that's, that's funny to me, it just says Taylor Swift billionaire status. And these people are on tour right now. Drizzy Drake throwing towels. I don't know what Taylor's throwing. Sometimes they have bubble machines and bubbles go out into the crowd. Or they, obviously they have, like I said, they do the crowd surfing, and then they do crowd surfing, and then they do throwing a beach ball around and stuff like that, and all kinds of things. And then have the Flaming Lips. Wayne Coyne, he does a spectacular show. He's in a bubble and he walks over the crowd of the Flaming Lips. That's next level. I mean, that's way beyond throwing a towel into the crowd. They call it the space bubble. I think the entire the entire Flaming Lips band are inside these bubbles, and they just walk out into the crowd. Like, who does that? That's ingenuity right there. That's thinking, way outside. There's no box. You're just thinking way out. But I think this story was, well written by Mr. NEVARES, and the story itself was very intriguing and interesting and simple. It just like, with Cardi B's situation. It's just very simple, direct, confrontation with the crowd, communication with the crowd, $100 million fortune behind Drake. and he's worried about these people throwing, towels about. Okay, enough of Drizzy Drake. I gotta promote Ruler of the Kingdom of the Air. This story will set you on fire. Okay, I'm serious. This is a great way to see if I'm worthy of the number one spot. I want first place. I don't want second place. I already had second place 2 times. I don't want third place. I already had third place 1 time. I want first place for this. So on vocal.media, you just type. I have it in the live chat. But if you're not in the live chat, you just go to vocal.media. That's vocal.media. And then you type in Ruler of the Kingdom of the Air. And you will find my story. And you should read that. It's something that is of great value. It's something that is of great importance to me. To me. I put my effort into it. I'm not like that. This is my second gig. As you can tell, I'm not, that astute at doing this, but I must give myself props, pat myself on the back. For fiction, I'm good with fiction. And I'm pretty good with nonfiction too, but I'm just writing especially. Writing gets me in another zone. It gets me to a point of understanding of who these characters are, or who are the facts, what the facts are. If it's nonfiction, it gets me going. It gets me to a point of of better understanding. But I was I was given this the reins to this platform by Mr. Troy Star Terrain. He personally said, they need to see your face and hear your voice. I was reluctant, but I said, you know what, maybe this thing can work. I got hundreds of dollars, over $100 in Cash App donations. It's pretty sweet. All tax free, by the way. I'm on that tax free game. All tax free, and it's beautiful. But the writing of this, if I win this, it won't be tax free. The first prize is $1,000. Second prize is $500. Third prize is you're fired. No, that's from Glengarry Glen Ross. No, it's $250, I think. Rule of the Kingdom of the Air, yeah, set in Delaware. I like that. It's because it's just like Toni Morrison said. If there's a book out there that you want to read, and excuse me, and it hasn't been written yet, you have to write it. You have to. It's a moral imperative. It's not just a suggestion. It's not just a nudge. It's a shove. You need to write this down. This is the first chapter. I'm really excited and seeing what I can do with a whole book related to this. This is just a short story because it's the first chapter. It's the first installment. And I want to see if it can go any further. I want to see how far I can go with whatever I have available. That's what I'm banking on mainly. That's what I'm considering at this point. It is very vital to me because I want to see, can there be black characters? Can they be intelligent? Can they live in Delaware? Can there be a connection to the military? Can there be all these things that I want to see that I've not yet seen? But there's plenty of New York and LA and then anything in between. There's Montana shows and Indiana shows and Florida shows and movies and books and TV shows and New Orleans, and there's not going to be CSI Wilmington, Delaware. This is not going to happen. Even though this was the murder capital of the world of the country, according to Newsweek in 2014. That's facts. Look that up. So it's like I wanted to see that happen, and I had to build it from the ground up. Had to make these characters believable in this unbelievable situation that you will find when you read it. Once you really pin down what is going on, you'll understand. Like, okay, I kind of get it. I see where this is going, and I want you to understand how like the cliffhanger really will transition into what will happen in the future if I do come out with other segments in the book. That's what I wish to happen. That's what I think is going to happen. It's a joy. Writing it was a joy. It felt like I was continuing on down a pathway of ecstasy. It was just people say writing is hard. It's hard. It is hard. I like what Gwendolyn Brooks said, the poet. She said it's delicious difficulty or delicious agony. She says delicious agony, and that's what it is. And then I got not. I'm just dropping quotes now. Ernest Hemingway said, "Writing is getting and sitting down to a typewriter and bleeding. You pour everything you can into it to make it good. Because sometimes things aren't that good. I wouldn't know anything about that. No, but it is a task. But what's great is it's just like stepping on the gas in a vehicle, which I don't know anymore. I don't drive. But when I did drive, it was like I'm in control of this whole $2,000 or $2,000, 2,000 pound or 800 pound behemoth or 1,200 pound, whatever the case was. It was a truck. And my car, it must have been about 700 or 800 pounds. I'm in control of this thing. I have to make it go and make it stop. I have to make it idle. I have to make it, return and travel. You're in the driver's seat, as the cliche goes. You're in the driver's seat, but that's what it's like. You have control over everything, and it's a task. Like I said, it's something that's trying because it gets to you. It's heavy, but if you can do it, you can do it. If you have the wherewithal, you can do it. So that's what I want to see. I wanted to see intelligent uh, black people that could have conflict with one another but still understand each other. I want to show Delaware and how it's like it's part of the story. How at the very beginning, Dover, Delaware, the Air Force Base. Tell you about that a little bit later, but you know the idea behind Delaware being not just a location shot. It was a location shot, for Dead Poet Society. It was actually a location, a shot location for Dead Poet Society. Let's make sure. I'm gonna make sure exact city. Okay, filming began in November 1988, wrapped in January 1999, took place at St. Andrew's School and the Everett Theater in Middletown, Delaware, and locations in Newcastle, Delaware, and in nearby Wilmington, Delaware. So Dead Poet Society had a little bit to do, with what happened, with being on location, but not representing what happens in the film, what happens in the story. There's very few. There's one. It's like I think it's called My Sister and Me. I think it's me. Hold on, I'm looking for it. Riding the bus with my sister, I think is what it's called. Hold on. Man, it's a different story. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that one. But definitely Dead Poet Society. But it wasn't a location in the film. It wasn't featured. Not like how I would like to see it. It wasn't featured at all. It was just a place where the scenes were shot. And I think it's for good reason. People know. They're for money. They're about that bag. Hollywood's about that bag. And they say Delaware. What? Isn't that boring? Who lives in Delaware? What is that? And I can understand, I get it. But Delaware is perfect because it is boring. It's all about that money. Yeah. Everything that has to do with Delaware is about money. Chemical capital of the world, money. DuPont. Credit card capital of the world, all the different the banking industry, Wisfis, Barclays, uh, Capital One, Bank of America, Chase, and so many others. Wilmington Trust, so many others. And I wanted to convey that, spirit of America, of Delaware. Please, if you are in the chat room, send up a 1 to let me know who you are in here. Let me know you're in here. I see one person in the live. Don't get scared now. You're in the lion's in. You're in the jungle. You're in the dungeon dragons den. Rah rah, like a dungeon dragon. Can't say anything else because I'll get hit with copyright strike. But 2 people. All right, so 2 people put up a 1 in the comment section. I appreciate it. Thank you. But it's not even a game. It's nothing to play with. Because it's all about cash. It's all about the dollars. And, people aren't really looking forward. I could miss a movie or show about Delaware. I could miss a book about Delaware. I could miss a story about Delaware. They don't seem right. And I love the fact that at the last census, 2020, we surpassed 1 million people living in Delaware. So it must be people that running from the cops from Philly, living in houses in Middletown, living the American dream instead of being locked up. That's what that could be. People, that wanted to see what was happening in different cities around the country and said, you know what, I gotta come back home. I gotta see what's happening back in Delaware. That's essentially my story, part of it anyway. I was all around the country as a Marine, South Carolina, North Carolina. Represent Greg S. You've gotta send in. You gotta either read the story and share it, or you gotta give me a cash app, sir. That's what I'm looking forward to. Salute to you. And also subscribe to Spirit Smooth Tunes on YouTube. Definitely subscribe to Spirit Smooth Tunes. Definitely gotta do that. After you read my story, after you send the cash app, after you read this, after you share the story, after you send the cash app, make sure you go to Spirit Smooth Tunes and subscribe. All right. So Delaware has all kinds of advantages. It's mainly historical, very historical settings in Delaware, and that's probably what makes it boring too, because people get bored by history. Great place to learn. It's got schools: Goldie Beacom, Delaware Tech, Delaware State, UD, just to name a few. Wilmington University, WILMU. It's a beautiful state. It really is. And as Greg S says, the first state. You can't start anywhere else. The first state. The first state. Like, that's our claim to fame. And then, haters going to say, oh, it was just a technicality. And not George Reed. Caesar Rodney is not Paul Revere. He didn't have the whole story exactly, with the horseback ride and everything like that. A lot of people gonna hate all you want. We're the first state. Delaware is always going to be the first state. It's on our license plate. I didn't mean to rhyme right there, but I just wanted that. I wanted to see that. I wanted to see that in my story. That's what I wanted to depict. Smart, black, strong men and women who are in this situation, and they have to find out why they are and who they are and what they can do to make it, resolved, to resolve the issue, to give themselves enough credit, give themselves enough initiative to be able to communicate with each other in Delaware, not in New York City, not in Los Angeles. It's mind boggling. It's like, should we do another show about New York? Yes. Should we do another book about New York? You're darn tootin'. Like, yes, without question. No, no, no ifs, ands, buts, or maybes. There's got to be another book about New York. There's got to be another book about Los Angeles, or just different places in California. Maybe Chicago. You got the Chirac. All of oh, what's this guy? What's this guy's name? His name is not coming to me right now, but I can't. This is a film by John Hughes. John Hughes. If you want to understand what Chicago and the surrounding areas of Chicago are like, you've got to rent or buy John Hughes films. You got to. You have to. They're required viewing, and you'll get a glimpse into a world where most of his stories, not all of his stories, take place in Chicago or the outskirts of Chicago. Not every movie, but most of them. So I selfishly made it my business to become, aware of the fact that Delaware deserves to be on the main stage literally. And literally. It needs to be on the stage. It needs to be on the stage. I mean to make a stage with the whole state of Delaware on it. Literally, no. Literarily, in a literary sense. In that kind of vein. With that kind of understanding. And I think I have achieved it. I think I've finally brought to my, idealism. Okay, Keith, respect you, sir. Welcome to the party. I'm not gonna be here long, but for a long time. I'm here for a good time. I'm communicating right now. Communicating to him. Why what, sir? So, you have to do what you gotta do because nobody else is gonna do it for you. You gotta do it yourself. And delegate. You can delegate to people to do stuff, but you're gonna be the main one. I've noticed that in my travels. And everybody's a CEO. Everybody's a CEO. That's in the story. I hope will evolve and show that everybody has their own bank account, has their own set of bills they have to pay. That's a CEO. You're controlling your own company, your own individual personal self, just like a CEO would oversee a multi-billion or multi-trillion-dollar company. But why what, sir? What are you saying why to, Keith? Thanks for coming in the room, though. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for coming to the room. But it's it's fun. It's great. I enjoy. I didn't labor over this. I didn't. Well, that remains to be seen, or something like that. As people say, But I enjoyed the fact that I made Delaware part of, the literary idea. I almost say the canon. I'm not that deep. I'm no Toni Morrison or Ernest Hemingway or John Steinbeck or so many others. So William Faulkner. I'm not yet a part of that canon. Not yet part of that world. Not yet there. I'm fighting for it. I'm gonna fight my way to it. Be somebody like August Wilson, somebody like that. Oh yes, Delaware, because Delaware is the best state in the union, and I can prove it. We're so boring. We're all about money. Credit card, like I said, the credit card capital of the world, chemical capital of the world. We're only about getting cash. That's the only thing we're worried about. That's the only thing you can do in Delaware. There's nothing else to do. You go to school to get money. You go to work to get money. You raise kids, that takes money. All of this is all about money. That's why Delaware. That's why I put Delaware light on the spot. On the Delaware on the spotlight. That's exactly why I put Delaware up there. This is my home. And I have yet to see anybody make a strong case for wanting to write about Delaware. I'm betting you. I'm betting you. There's 10,000 manuscripts, or probably more, probably 50,000 manuscripts with stories about Delaware on them, and including with hip hop in Delaware chiefly, and they've been lost in the pile. They've been in the slush pile of other failed manuscripts. And some people write on their own. I'm sure there have been, independent. I'm not going to deny that. I'm sure there have been independent writers that wrote, their self wrote their books. Not denying that. Not denying that. Yes, it is very interesting, sir. Very interesting. Delaware is the greatest state in the union, and it's the greatest. The second smallest, but we make stuff. DuPont makes stuff. We have the credit card companies. We make sure people are in debt so they get more money. We want more people in debt. Get in debt with the credit cards. That's how you do it. Yes, President Biden's from Delaware. My dad has a picture of him about 40, 50 years ago almost. And my dad's got, bell bottoms and an afro. And Joe Biden's got dark brown hair. That's a fact. I might show it one day. That's a whole fact. Whole truth. Facts on everything. That was when he was a senator in Delaware. He's been a politician for at least 40, 50 years, something like that. Gotta be something like that now. Maybe almost 60 years. Almost. Maybe 50, maybe 40, 50 years. He's been a politician. You know what? What do you know? Because I'm telling you stuff that you wouldn't know. I'm telling you stuff that he was with my dad in a picture when he was a senator. I bet you didn't know that. I bet you didn't know that. But no. Ruler of the kingdom of the air. RotKotA. That's it for short. RotKotA is such a story that emphasizes and at least introduces Delaware to the mainstream. It's giving Delaware a chance to show that at this time, at the time of the story, there are probably around 600 or 700,000 people in Delaware, maybe even less. But now 2023, we have at least over 1 million people. And what do these million people do? Do they say this Delaware sucks? I can't stand being here. Why aren't they in other states? What makes 1 million people stay around Delaware? Huh? What makes 1 million people stay in this boring state? Like I said, there's probably people from Philly running from the cops, hiding in Middletown somewhere, or in Dover, or Milton, ducking the cops like New York cats do with New Jersey and Atlanta, Georgia, and the surrounding areas. It's the same issue, same problems. Same issue. But I want it to be known that Delaware is the central, a central character in this story. Without Delaware, this story doesn't even function right. It doesn't even make sense. It's not even together. It's one of the few lines in the book, in the story that corresponds with the state itself. That's what's so empowering. That's what makes this story so lovely. I should say, it's a lovely tale. Yes, it's not Wellington, it's Wilmington, Delaware. And I had the chance to go see him speak live in Wilmington. Wilmington, Delaware. But close. You're not well off. You're not far off. It's not Wellington, but it's Wilmington. Keith. Yeah, I had a chance. He was speaking in Wilmington. I don't know. I think it was on 10th Street. I think it was on 10th Street, 10th and King Street. Um, no, but I didn't go. I didn't see him. But you said Wellington again. Oh man, it's Wilmington. Wilmington. I'm yelling at you, but I'm yelling at you with respect, sir. With respect. Exactly, exactly, exactly. Oh, you know what though? If you could do this for me. Okay, there's a few things you need to do for me, Keith. One, if you're not going to donate, I understand your plight. If you're not going to donate, go to Spirit Smooth Tunes on YouTube and subscribe. Then read my story, Rule of the Kingdom of the Air, share it with somebody, and take that somebody and send them over here to this site right now, to this live broadcast. I would like to see you do that. I would really enjoy it and I appreciate it. Thank you, Keith. Thank you. So this story is all about how my life got twisted. No, I'm kidding. This story is about how Delaware figures into the construction of America as the first state, as the primary state, the first one. You can't have any more else. You can't have anything else other than the first. You always have to have a number one. We're number one. We're the first state. Everybody else had to follow us. Everybody else had to come second, third, fourth, and so on. Our placement as the first state makes us the greatest state. Because we're so boring. I don't care. I know we're boring. That's the whole point. People think business is boring. They think tomorrow is boring. Monday. Just another manic Monday. I'm trying not to get a copyright strike, but I'm just trying to give you a chance. Thank you. Thank you, Keith. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. And and what else? Tell them to come over here. I only see one person. I think I'm talking to you. My audience is you. Yeah, Keith. Make sure that you tell someone to not to read the story and also to come over to this live chat while I'm still on. I might go on for a little longer. I'll see how long I can go on. So yeah, Delaware all day. Monday is my fun day. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because some people say today is their fun day. You know, but most people say, like from the movie Office Space, somebody's got a case of the Mondays. Like Monday can't be anything else than a headache. Like you're enjoying your weekend. I remember having this feeling as well. I'm not gonna say I'm high and mighty, but I remember feeling this as well. Certain during a time period where I was a garbage collector actually. When I was collecting garbage, I'll have Monday through Friday, then the whole weekend, and then Sunday nights you're like, oh, I'm gonna watch this Breaking Bad episode, but tomorrow I gotta go. I gotta clock in. I gotta clock in again. I gotta punch in. You know, I gotta punch a clock to push a mop just to get that guap. I meant to rhyme right there because that's mine. Don't take that. I might use that for a T-shirt or something. But that's the truth. That's reality. That's facts. That's factual. That feeling, I know that feeling. And even school was like that. School especially was like that. I think school for anyone like that. Monday, unless you're A1 top dog in school, and even if you weren't, you probably like didn't even like Mondays, but I was so good, I can still get straight A's. You know what I mean? Some kind of people. I wasn't that person, but I can see that for people going to school. Mondays like, oh, gotta get back to this grind. Yeah. You don't even start getting right until like the sixth period on Wednesday. You don't think your head is right. You don't think your mind is correct. You don't think you have enough stamina until midday Wednesday. You know? That's what it's like. But we have, everything to offer in Delaware. We have small towns. We have a small city. Wilmington is a small city. It's not a big town. It's not a big, a small town. It's a small city. You know, there's a. Okay, hold on. This is from Keith Skyler. When is the FDMG School Academy for Young Boys going to open? I have no idea. You do not. You cannot ask me. I have no clue. I missed that speech he had in Wilmington. You said it was Umar Johnson, right? Yeah, Dr. Umar Johnson. Yeah, I didn't go to that speech. I didn't attend that. I don't know when that school is opening. He probably had information on that. You can probably look it up. Um, but yeah, so Delaware is Delaware's the greatest. It's the greatest. You can say, oh, California. Delaware is the Rudolph the Reindeer's reindeer. You know, all the other states have their reindeer games, and Delaware is always pushed out. But I'm gonna be the Santa Claus and say, come on, Delaware, you can leave my the you can leave my sleigh tonight. That's where I am right now. That's where I am. I'm at that point. I've been doing this for the past almost over a decade at least, since 2013 with other sites. But this is the best site for me. Medium is okay. Haven't gotten big checks from them. I've gotten deposits from Vocal, over $2,000 from Vocal. I mean, on the internet. Nobody, was in my ear this time. Some people, are in my ear. Like Troy Star Training was in my ear about this uh, broadcast, but nobody. I found out vocal on a Facebook ad. The algorithm, took my information. I'm a writer. I'm a screenwriter. I'm a journalist. Said, oh yeah, oh yeah, and we all know that algorithm is the new god. Algorithm is definitely a new god now. So that's one thing we have to address. The fact that we have so many people that are c- you know angry and bitter and just, oh, why are there so many ads, and I understand it. Like, for one thing, I don't like ads in certain circumstances, like for watching movies. I hate ads with movies. That just like irks me a little bit. I think a whole film should be a whole film, just from beginning to end, no ads. TV shows are designed to have ads. They're they're well made, tailor made to have ads. So you can understand that's easier to watch a TV show that than to watch a movie with ads. And on the internet sphere, on the webs, um, I think they're okay, depending on what they are. Like, if it's a newspaper site, I don't like ads on a news site. If it's like you can just subscribe, that's cool with me. Same thing with YouTube videos. I don't like ads on YouTube videos, so I made it's a premium account. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. And I think I'm just talking to you, Keith. So respect to you for staying aboard, and make sure you bring in a couple of females just to get my numbers up. Respectfully, okay. Here's what Keith says. Skylar, respectfully, Umar Johnson gives the state of Delaware a bad reputation. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you. You asked me this question before. Why? Tell me why he gives it a bad reputation. I'll wait. I mean, I'll talk while I'm waiting, but I'll wait for you. Let me know why. Now, this state is great because you either come here for school, to retire, or you come here for school, to raise your family, or retire. Simple as that. Or work. That's it. That's it. There's nothing else. There's no other. We don't have the big city. It's I always think about it like this. New York is like the grown woman, and then like the younger sister is Philadelphia, and then the baby, like the toddler, that's anything, is Wilmington, Delaware. That's how I always saw it. That's how it goes. That's how I think it functions. So, Delaware. Delaware on the map. I'm putting Delaware on the map. There's so many there's so many people that come from Delaware. Sean Patrick Thomas, Aubrey Plaza, DiVincenzo. Let me see. What's his name? Hold on. Let me. He's with the Bucks. No, he's with the he used to be with the Bucks. He's got a ring with the Bucks. He's the Warriors now. He's actually from the place I grew up, which is Newark, Delaware. Dante DiVincenzo. He's from Newark, Delaware. Only 26, making like 3 million a year, like 1 million a year, or something like that. Not bad, not bad at all. I don't care what you say. That's good. That's good money. He's good money. He won the championships, I think, with Villanova. That's a local school. That's within the limits. And then like hour or 2 hours away. And that's the thing with Delaware as well. We're the Diamond State because we're like the hub. We're like the short distance between DC, Baltimore, Philly, New York, and other locales. We're right in the middle of it. Right in the middle of all those places. All those different places we have. We're in the middle of it. We take it to another point with that. We're right in the center of it. We're able to travel within 2 hours to 3 hours. Not even that much for Philly. It's only an hour and a half or so, really. So Delaware is the truth. I don't care what no one says. I'm biased. I'm biased. I mean, I, I'm trying to be objective, trying to give you different points of reference and the reasoning why Delaware is the Diamond State, the small wonder, the first state. Why is it so special? It has a historical representation, everything from the Underground Railroad all the way back to the Revolutionary War. Battles were fought here. Yes, Delaware is the first of the original 13 colonies. Original colonies. The first one of the 13 original colonies. Yes, it's true, Keith. But you still didn't answer my question. Why? Is that the reason you're giving me right there? Delaware is also one of the original 13 colonies. I know that. That's what I've been saying. It was the first of the 13 original colonies. I can't say them off the top of my head. I mean, the full list. I do the internet search, but I'm not going to go that far. Um, but read RotKotA. What is that? Ruler of the Kingdom of the Air by yours truly on vocal.media. Share it, enjoy it, read it again, read it too many times because people are saying it's puzzling. If it's puzzling, then that's a good sign for me. I want you to be not confused, but just wonder, in a state of wonder. Okay? So read it, share it, love it, or hate it. I love it. And I'm representing from my state of Delaware. I thank you very much. I'll see you some other time this week. Take care.